The Hearts of Gold podcast is brought to you by the Grow and Share Network, produced by Off the Walter Media Productions.
Welcome to Hearts of Gold. Today we have Megan with us. Hi, Megan.
Hi.
Can you tell us about your Girl Scout Gold Award project?
So my project focused on the global opioid crisis, where I worked alongside Hushabye Nursery, the first and only recovery center for infants experiencing neonatal abstinence syndrome. Women who become pregnant while using opioids are typically prescribed opioids throughout their pregnancy due to the risk of prenatal withdrawal and miscarriage. This causes their babies to be born in an opioid-dependent state, known as neonatal abstinence syndromes, which requires a detoxification process in the days following the birth. Hushabye Nursery provides a safe environment for the care of the babies to ensure the best future for the family. They include support groups, inpatient nursery services, and outpatient therapies. Through my project, I held a donation drive all around my community, built and organized a donation closet that motivated the moms to take more classes, to shop from the closet, and was approved to have Hushabye Nursery become one of National Charity League's official philanthropies to hold yearly donation drives too. Along the way, I informed the community about this pressing problem.
How did you pick your project?
Because I first knew I had a big interest in helping kids. So then I emailed this family friend of mine named Miss Wendy Jatata. She gave me the contact information for Miss Shauna Anderson, who works at Hushabye Nursery. Then Miss Shauna told me all about the global opioid crisis, which I already had a passion to. The issue of the global opioid crisis is very important to me because my family has struggled through opioid and drug misuse. I personally have lost a cousin to addiction. Also, even though the opioid crisis is a major issue in many neighborhoods and communities, speaking about it is shamed away. There's a common excuse that the drug misuse has no solutions because once people become addicted, they are written off, and that they just lack moral principles or the willpower to stop taking drugs. However, the truth is that the drug addiction is a complex disease that affects the brain. Therefore, this misconsensus needs to be spoken about. Through the lack of awareness and seeing how drugs have changed the lives for the people around me, I became very passionate about this issue and chose to work with Hushabye Nursery for my Gold Award.
What was your favorite part of your project?
Hosting the donation drive. I was able to pair with all parts of my community in all these different sections of my life. For example, I've been dancing for my entire life, and I was able to ask my dance studio to have a little donation bin at their studio and email the description about Hushabye Nursery to all of my fellow dancers. I am also a student at Hamilton High School, and I was able to partner with the Hamilton soccer team to make my donation drive, the donation drive of the year. I also connected it with my church, my fellow Girl Scouts, and my National Charity League. Seeing how my community was able to come all together to support me in my Gold Award was so amazing. So that makes my donation drive my favorite part.
Is there anything that you know now that you wish you had known before you started your Gold Award project?
I wish that I knew how important it was to track your hours. So when you do your Gold Award, you have to put all of your hours into a system for your final reports. My mom kept on telling me that you need to be tracking your hours, and I would, but I didn't do it as commonly as I should have. So then at the end, I had so many hours to put in, and I had to go back in my camera roll, find what dates I went to Hushabye. And so that is just a reminder, remember to track your hours because that's very important.
Very important.
Yes.
You mentioned National Charity as one of your partners. Can you tell us about National Charity?
So National Charity League is a mother-daughter organization where the mothers and daughters pair with other mothers and daughters in their community, and we go to philanthropies or nonprofit organizations to volunteer at and on hours too. Through that, we learn about the pillars of leadership, culture, and helping out the community. So I am part of the Santan National Chapter of National Charity League, and I am even on the national level of the TikToker Advisory board. So the girls are called the TikTokers. So all of the girls around the nation can apply to be on this board, and I'm lucky enough to be on the board to make a change onto that. So we learn about different parts of the community and donate and learn how to make a difference.
You have also earned your bronze and silver awards. Can you tell us about those projects?
I loved my Bronze and Silver Award projects. For my Bronze Award, we went to this local farm sanctuary called Amy's Farm Sanctuary, and we built a duck pond for them. And they had a lot of these ducks who weren't the best swimmers, since she just takes in any animals who needs a home. And so we made it out of a tire truck, and we painted some rocks to make it colorful around it, and we built that. And I had so much fun with my fellow Girl Scout troop. Then for my Silver Award, me, my sister, and my friend, we illustrated, wrote, and published a book about the climate change issue and about the plight of the polar bears. We talked to a family friend who is an author, and we researched all about climate change and all about how to write a book. And that was so much fun to research. Then once we finally wrote and published our book, we donated our book to local elementary schools, and we were even able to read it to a kindergarten class.
What other Girl Scout adventures have you had?
Definitely encampments. I love going to camp and spending that weekend away with my fellow Girl Scout troop. We get to meet so many other troops there, and we also get to learn about some fun skills like how to make a fire, how to have first aid, and always my favorite part, improv, because I love theater, and so doing improv at camp is so much fun. And so definitely encampment is my favorite Girl Scout adventure.
What other theater experiences have you had?
I am a part of the Hamilton Theater Company at Hamilton High School. And so last year, I was so happy to be casted in the school musical of Freaky Friday. I was Fletcher, who was the little boy with the puppets, and I got to sing really fun songs and make so many new friends. This year, I am able to be casted in the school musical of Matilda, and I am Nigel, the little boy who passes out and is so scared, and he's so fun. I've been doing theater my entire life. I started at Jean's School of Dance, where some of my favorite roles were Tinkerbell and Peter Pan and Mary Poppins and Mary Poppins. Then I moved to Baker Performing Arts, where I did a lot of tap shows. And then my recent community theater adventure was at Limelight Performing Arts, where I did Matilda again, but this time I was a librarian named Mrs. Phelps.
What about your dancing?
I've been dancing my entire life. I was a competitive dancer on the dance team at Jean's School of Dance. I had so much fun, and my favorite style of dance is tap dancing and musical theater dancing, where I performed solos, duets, and competed at different dance competitions. Then sadly, Jean's School of Dance closed down due to COVID, and so I moved studios to Classic Image Dance. And I've been having so much fun there, where I was on their team last year, but due to so many time commitments, I am only taking ballet and their technique class. But I always have a passion for dance. I love dance so much.
You are also on speech and debate, and your oratory last year was on perfectionism. Can you give us a little peek into that?
So basically, original oratory, the part of speech and debate that I competed is where you give a 10-minute speech about anything you're passionate about, where you talk about the root causes, its effects, and even give a solution. So it gives a whole overarching theme. So last year I talked about perfectionism, well, I even struggle with. I have a hard time trying to fit myself into this idea of being perfect. And I see many of my classroom students around me struggle with this. So I basically talked about how it is rooted in our school system and how about this college admissions process, which is becoming so rigorous over time, is pushing people towards perfectionism. That was just one of my many root causes, but that's the one that came to my mind. And then I talked about how perfectionism has very severe effects, a lot of mental issues. It changes the way people think and go through their lives. Then I finally gave some solutions to perfectionism. Well, if you feel the stress of trying to be perfect, you need to sit down and really think, would this decision or this idea of being perfect really affect me in the long term? Like if I'm not perfect and don't get this A on this test, would that really go through the spiral of effects that's going through my mind? Will I not pass my class? Probably not. Will I not get into a good college? Probably not. Like that won't cause a big impact. So because people with perfectionism usually spiral to these different outcomes, which are not even going to happen if they truly sit down and think about it. So I talked about perfectionism. I competed my speech at many events online, and I love spreading the message.
What are you thinking about for your future?
I definitely want to go into political pursuit in the future. This past summer, I was able to take this class about political justice at Georgetown, the summer university session. And so I learned I talked to many people who are in like the political pursuit, who are already working there. Like I talked to people who work at the Institute of Justice. And so hearing about how people for a job go around different places and solve issues happening in the local communities really inspired me. I've always been interested into political justice just because my mom was a lawyer, and hearing about all of the things that she did work with, I was really interested starting at a young age. But I think maybe going into something with the opioid misuse and this huge global crisis that we are at for the drug misuse, I think being able to go into political pursuit and being able to make some legislative changes to make a more difference, or not even just in the opioid crisis, but in anywhere else. I would love to be the one in the court trying to make those changes.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience?
Change is achievable. You may have these big ideas. You think, I want to make this difference. You know, when you sit down and you really think through it, you can make that change. And with working with the people around you and having the community who can support you and your dreams and aspirations, anything is achievable.
How do you make your s'mores?
I think slow and steady wins the race. So I have my marshmallow and I sit at that campfire for a good 5 minutes, just circling it around. And I do not like my marshmallows super burnt. I like them like brown and perfect. And I also sometimes switch out the Hershey's chocolate bar with a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Make sure to click follow or subscribe so you always know when new episodes are released. And don't forget to power your passion and conquer your challenges.
The Hearts of Gold podcast is brought to you by the Grow and Share Network, produced by Off the Walter Media Productions. Thank you for listening and spreading the word on what we do. If you want to share your story of how you earned your Gold Award, reach out and send an email to growandsshare@outlook.com. Be sure to listen to the newest episodes on your favorite podcast app, as well as view the full video episodes on youtube.com/Cheryl M. Robinson. That's youtube.com/Cheryl, the letter M, Robinson. Take care, and we'll see you next time.